Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to be with this woman today. And before we dive in, I wanted you all to have a little bit of a backstory because I just feel like, gosh, I call this woman an angel from heaven. I feel like when I needed support and when I called on creating a book, she heard that calling and she gave me all the nuggets of wisdom that she had developed in her career. But what this woman means to me is not just a mentor, but I see her as a soul success sister, somebody that I can always connect with. And, if I'm ever struggling or feeling frustrated, I send her a voice memo and she's like, oh, I totally get it, but here's what we're going to do. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, we all need women like that in our life who can we can relate to and who isn't going to sugarcoat the struggle that we're going through, but can also give us the tools and the support and the wisdom to be able to take that struggle and turn it into something really beautiful. And so, Sara Connell, thank you so much for being with me today.
I'm so excited to be here, Megan. I feel the ditto about you. So I'm so glad we're sisters on the journey together and really excited.
We're just crushing on each other. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Sara is a writing coach, and when I came up with the deep calling to publish the book of memoirs, you really heard that calling. I just remember it so clear as if it was yesterday, where we were in our mastermind group, and I felt like I don't want to use the word struggling, but I just felt stuck in my business because I knew that there was something deep that I wasn't tapping into yet. And this idea of a book of memoirs kept coming up and kept coming up, kept coming up. And you really heard that inner battle, and you called me after and you said, you know what, Megan, I really think that you're on to something as a friend. I just want you to know that, you're supported. I've been where you've been, and I have the tools to support you in creating this project. And so I want to share that with our audience because I feel like, whether it's writing a book or starting a business or creating a product, that sometimes we need to be able to see through other people's eyes before we believe in it ourselves. And so that conversation was validation for me that, okay, yes, this has been brewing inside of me for some time. Let's manifest it, and let's manifest it quickly. And what we co-created together, you're a contributor to the book, and you're going to be speaking at the Soul Success Virtual Retreat on a lot of the same tools that you mentored me on, which became a best-selling book in 4 months later, record time. And I really need to emphasize, when people say, well, how did you do it during COVID and 2 kids? It was absolutely a collaborative effort of all of these brilliant minds who came together and locked arms on a mission. Mm-hmm. So, Sara, I would love to hear a little bit more. I know your backstory. I want our viewers to learn a little bit more about what led you into writing a book, and what are some of the ways that you support people right now? What are you going to be speaking on at the event? Just give us the goods, sister.
I'm so excited. Well, so I'm one of those people, I work with, there's sort of like 2 types of people I have the pleasure of working with. One who are like me, and as a kid, you're like, I want to be a writer. I really love to read, I love to write. And so this was in me from a very early age, but I took on just a lot of limiting ideas that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't allowed, I wasn't something enough, right, to be able to pursue this dream. So I suppressed it and I did all kinds of other stuff versus what I really wanted in my soul. And so when I finally had that opportunity, and it was painful and long and took a long time to figure it out and wander around in the desert. But when I finally got to that point of getting my first book out and, you know, having it be well received and getting a lot of opportunities open up for me, I was like, I am dedicating my life to other, especially women who have a story to tell, who have a mission to share. And that is what I want to do with my time here on earth. That is what I want to make happen. And so to me, it is truly like a deep, sacred calling. I get as excited about helping someone bring a book forth as like someone else who's like, help someone have a baby, right? You know, it's like, that is like a big, I get very excited. And because I believe books change lives and save lives. And so,
You're like a book doula.
the book doula, that's right, book doula. And so, so all of that to say, like, it was really stemmed from my own mission. And then there are people who have never thought about writing a book that I work with, who suddenly just become on fire with their purpose and their passion and their mission. And people have been saying, you need to write a book. And they're like, please. And suddenly like, oh crap, I think I'm writing a book, you know? And so I love, you know, when we connected too, I mean, you've known for a long time you were going to write a book, but it was like the soul just announced itself, you know, and it was like, and we can logically tell ourselves, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't, you know, all the reasons, which are all valid. But in my experience, when that big magic knocks, you know, when that soul calling comes, it's like, it must be answered. Like it is. And so I just, it's such an honor. And it was so exciting to take the journey with you. And again, so many people could say this year, like, oh, the pandemic and homeschool, and there's all these real reasons. I'm a mom as well. It's why I love us connecting, because we're doing it all. And you just kept saying yes. You kept saying yes to the vision, and you went for it. And it's so exciting that it's now in the world making a huge impact. And so I think, you know, what we're going to be talking about at the retreat, which is so fun, is really how to do it. How do you go from, I think I have a book in me, or I know I want to write a book, to actually doing it? And we are going to really talk about the roadmap, you know, and Megan, you did it in 4 months. Some people do it in 4 months, some people do it in 6, some people do it in a year. Everyone gets to choose their own timeline, but it really does get to happen. And for everyone at your retreat next week, like everyone could have a finished book by the end of 2020. Think about that. So many people are like writing off the year. You could have your book done. With lots of people doing it right now. And so it's so exciting. And so I'm going to teach like some really practical things. It's not just going to be theory. It's like, here's how we break it down. I have a magic equation that'll help you decide like when you want it done, and tells you exactly how much to write each day in order to make that goal. We're going to be talking about, what the hell do you even put in a book once you decide you're excited? Or how do you even choose your idea? So we're going to start with like, what is that best-selling idea? How do you set up a book like you did as a bestseller from the start? And then, you know, how do you shape that book? What the hell are you putting in this book? And then what do you do to get it done in the timing you desire? That's really what we're going to focus on.
You guys, you want to watch it, even if you know, just want to start journaling your story. I believe that Sara has the tools to not help you just write a book, but also help you really articulate what's important to you and understand your values and the impact that, you know, we all make as entrepreneurs in our business. So Sara, before we get into how people can find you and more info on the retreat, what would be, you know, for somebody who does have a little bit of a nudge to start writing their story, what would be a great first step for them to take today as they prepare for the retreat?
Absolutely. So I like doing something called a story bank. And so we'll be talking about this a little bit, but you can get a head start. Basically looking at like, if you just know you've got a story to tell, but you might be overwhelmed, like where do I start, or what pieces are relevant? So you could start a story bank, which is like, what are the 10 most pivotal moments in the story you want to tell? Not everyone wants to tell like their whole life story. My first book is a memoir about the 7 years it took from wanting to have a child to becoming a mother, for example. So that's like thematic memoir, you know, it's around this one journey, this one issue. So you could start thinking, whatever you think the story is that you want to tell, what are those 10 pivotal moments, either the darkest rock bottom moments, the greatest triumphs, because that's going to start to help you shape a narrative, to shape an arc. And you can decide, again, like Megan, you could bring in other voices. We're going to talk about the kinds of books you might want to write. You could tell your own story. You might want to share more of a system that you work with clients and put your signature coaching system into a book. People do that all the time, and it can be done quite quickly. So I just think like, start with a story bank. Just get out some paper and free write, or get on your notes phone and like, what are those pivotal moments in the story that I want to tell? And that's going to help you shape the bones of your book, whether it's more, you know, personal growth related or more memoiristic, doesn't matter. Just start mining those stories.
I love that. Awesome. And my dog's loving it too. He had to pop.
Um,
Like, what's that fuzzball? Oh, so Sarah, if people want to find you, where can they do so?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's welcome to come to the website. We've got all kinds of cool free tools and things for facing the blank page and getting started. That's at www.saraconnell.com, and that's SaraConnell.com, since there's a million ways to spell Sarah and Connell.
Yeah.
Yes, and then Megan, for the retreat, if anyone doesn't have your ticket, how can they go?
Oh, you guys, you got to grab your ticket to learn more about Sarah because like I said, she's an angel from heaven. She will for sure give you nuggets of gold along with all of the beautiful speakers. So if you go to thesoulsuccess.com/events, you can find out all the information. It begins on September 16th for 2.5 magical days. And you'll also get live mentoring from our speakers. And what we want you to leave with is a clear action plan and map for what you're going to do the next few weeks leaving the event and also leading into 2021. So bam, if you have that book inside of you, you'll know exactly what to do from there. Awesome. You guys, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Sarah. Love you.
See you at the retreat.
Woo! See you at the retreat.
Okay, hold on one sec.